And check 1, 2. Let's do a microphone check. Hold on. Looks like we're loud and clear, so God bless everyone. Welcome to your Friday. Today's show, or tonight's show, is called The Prof Friday Night Fights Round 4, Delphi Murders, Unsolved Crime, Justice for Abby and Libby, News. And so welcome to everyone. I want to say hello to everyone in the chat, and then we'll be rolling at full tilt. So here we go, and I'm glad to see everyone. Hey, happy Friday. Damn, we made it through the week. And wow, we have a lot to talk about. So let's get into it. I'm going to try to stay hydrated tonight. I've got my water here that I need to remember to drink. All right, and let me say hello to everybody who happens to be in here. See what we got here. Boy, I got to go back a ways. I am pretty late. Apologize for the tardiness. But here we go. We're ready to roll. All right. Now, let's see. We go all the way back, and who do we find back there? pretty sure, pretty positive we'll find Amy first. But let's see. A long ways to go. Look at this. Lots of people were here early. I really appreciate that, y'all. Hope you enjoyed the chat tonight. Mods, don't delete anybody, but just time them out if they're a little naughty. And yeah, so going all the way back, we find Amy. Amy was here super early, reminding you all of our support pathways. Please do hit the support pathways. I need your support to survive. It's a matter of survival here in the Prof universe on these YouTubes. So please do support the channel. And thank you, Amy, for always reminding everybody the easiest way to find our support pathways. And also, we got Mark Ellis up in the house. What up, Mark? Court of Public Opinion. What up, Court of Public Opinion? Say what's here. What's up, say what? Okay, we got Brenda Mays. I am. Hello, I am. Hi, Prof in chat. Looking forward to the live. Cute puppy. What's up, I am? All right. Who else did we have here super early? Just my opinion. Okay. Then we had rolling in. Let's see. We had Barbara Borman. What's up, Barbara? All right. And also, who's coming in? Four Pits. What's up, Four Pits? Mr. Four Pits in the house. Good to see you, Four Pits. All right. Snoop Sleuth. Plain Iron. Okay. Also, artist formerly known. Hello to you. Honored by your presence. Welcome to you. Load the bleachers. The ballpark also has concessions. Tip your server. Donations and fundraising help support the Patties. And the Patty Family Troll Farm is in full effect. There's actually a uniparty meeting tonight as we speak, and we'll be talking about that in a future episode. What's up, Dom S? Dom S is here. Hey, y'all, I'm listening, and I'll be in chat in about 15. Well, that was about 30 minutes ago, so I'm sure he's here now. All right. All right. Welcome in, everyone, says Four Pits. Okay, welcome on in. This content creating has evolved, and I think I like it. We all do. And it's only going to get better. Trust me, you guys are in for quite a treat this summer. Things are ramping up just perfectly, just, I guess, gearing on into the summer. And it looks like a good situation here. What's up, Jennifer Hoff? Snoop Sleuth, haven't seen you before. Hello. What's up, Jennifer? What's up, Icy Cat? Hi. Good evening, y'all. Prof Mods. Hope y'all had a great week. We did. And dudes, I didn't do as many shows as I wanted to do because I was a little busy, but good news, bad news for you guys. Good news is I will be doing more shows. Bad news is I will also be diving into some more replays of former shows, and we'll be talking about that as well. Okay, so that's a whole other game plan, but we'll be talking about it. All right, let's see who we got here. Sweet Doob and Jennifer. Hello. Where's Sweet Dude? Did I miss him? Did I miss him coming in? I believe I did. It's easy to overlook the Sweet Dude Shibby. Okay, but I probably overlooked him, but we'll find him again. He's pretty vocal, so it's hard to miss. Okay, what's up? Mino Dino. What's up, Mino? Hey, what up, Mark Ellis? Thank you for the super chat, Mark Ellis. What up, Mino Dino? Mino Dino, you made it over? Welcome. All right, y'all say hello to Mino. Say hello to JR Nana Boomer. That's a hard one to say, JR Nana Boomer. Sending love and light to all. Today is National Do Something Good for Your Neighbor Day. Well, hey, I don't think I did anything good for my neighbors, except I left them alone. I did not disturb the peace, and I kept the front yard clean, kept the backyard litter free, so cleaned up the dog poop. So I think I have unintentionally, or not directly, I guess indirectly is a better word. I've indirectly taken care of my neighbors and done something good for them. Not being a pain in the ass is a good deed for the neighbors. All right. This could be action-packed with a few belts on the line. Grab a snack. Yeah, what's up there, Sweet Dude Shibby? Jennifer Hoff, Mark Ellis, Snoop Sleuth, Four Pits, Dom S, Mino Dino, Brenda Mays, I am, Icy Cat, Deb Hiller, says the Sweet Dude. All right, y'all. Welcome in, sweet dude. What's up, Miss Pie Crust? Can I get some pies? Can I please have pies? All right, Deb, Amy, Mark, Jennifer, Plain Iron, Four Pits, Icy Cat, Just My Opinion, I Am, Snoop, Brenda, Artist, Damas, Dino, Barbara, JR Nana, Boom. What's up? Deb, thank you for being nice to everybody. What's up? Hello and hello to chat. Good to see you all. Hope everybody's well. What's up? Nobody Nothing. 1717. Mandy Gillian. Asha Harry. What's up, sweetie? All right. Oh, he's a woman hater. Woman hater. Creep. All right. What's up, Jennifer and Shibby? What's up, Miss Pie Crust? Mandy, Asha Harry. We started out with Friday parties. We are the originators of the Friday night parties, and it's almost 2 years. 2 years we've been hitting the Friday night parties. So I think I only missed one because I was ill in 2 years. Literally, Josh. All right. Who else we got up in here? Hmm. The World's End. Happy Friday to Prof, Mods, and Chat. Bev's Side Bar and Grill. What's up, Dino? Kate U. Happy Friday to everyone. Mrs. Silenced. Hello and good evening, y'all. Jennifer Hoff, I love that we're all OCD together. We say hi to everyone, but then have to personally name everyone's. You like the long list? I do too. Okay. There you go. Asha, Nobody Nothing, Mandy, Miss Pie. It's a lot of typing though. I get sick of the typing on the thumb fatigue. Okay. The little phones give the thumb fatigue. All right. Boom. But I'm so glad everyone says hello to everyone. It's hey, what like I said to my friends, why are we all here? It's for the chat. Right. Miss Pie Crust, Mandy, Kate U, Silenced. Hey, Hiawatha's here. What's up, Hiawatha? Nice highway and road you got there. Looks like my part of the country. It's definitely in the western half of the U.S., I would say. All right. We're working on it. World's End, Kate U, Silenced. Just kidding. Tell my husband I'm talking with my friends when I'm here chatting. All right. Did you see Barbies? Oh, you are Barbies. All right. Bev's is Barbies. What's up, Barbies 3000? All right. Crowd is growing. Concessions are busy. Yeah, we're making that money, y'all, on them concessions. What's up, Dieter? I wonder if it's tax free. Is this a nonprofit? Snoop. Okay. All right, y'all. Coming in. That's nice of everybody. Okay. So Dieter's here. What's up, Dieter? Dieter liked my music. I was thankful for your message, Dieter. Thank you for appreciating the music. Thanks, lovely people, for the welcome. I'm in great company as always. Right. Okay, who else we got in here? It's kind of funny. I'm being roasted on YouTube tonight, and I don't even feel warm. Try again, motherfuckers. Tell you, it's a circus and complete with clowns, the evil kind. What's up, Rebecca Ann, 1965? Brrr, everybody. Chatter of the night is Rebecca Ann, 1965. Somebody send her flowers. Rebecca Ann, 1965. It's your night, Rebecca. I feel like showing you the love, Rebecca Ann. All right, there you go. Rebecca Ann, 1965. The guest of honor tonight. All right, y'all. Who else we got up in here? All right, y'all. We got Dom S is back in the house. What's up, Dom S? Jennifer Hoff, Rebecca Ann, Deb, Mino Dino, Mandy, Four Pits, Pie Crust, Dieter, right? Mark Ellis, Carla Ann. Hey, number 26. Y'all hit the like. That's what she's doing. Carla Ann is subconsciously reminding you all to go hit the like. What's up, 5 Green Acres? Good to see you too. All right. Trying to get through this chat. I am. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Four Pits. Four Pits. Four Pits. Okay. Looks like we're doing good here. Getting people in here. Up to 150. Come on, more. Come on, more, folks. Come on, there's another 100 lurkers need to come on in here. All right. Little mad at Hebby. What the hell? Step into the ring, Jennifer. All right, y'all. What's up, Kathy Dyer? It's Friday night. Let's get ready to rumble. Friday night fights, y'all. Friday night fights. We're going 13 rounds for these. I'll not say the bad word I was going to say. All right. Sandra Rowley, welcome in. Welcome, Sandra. Hello. Here on time, ready to go. Lynn's Hen, here on time, ready to go. Welcome. All right. Who else we got up in here? Okay, new faces. Any new faces here I've missed? Anyone I've missed? I was just going to say hello to Deb a second time. All right. All right, y'all. A damn tree landed on my truck last night, totaled. No. You better stop telling all our secrets, sweet dude Shibby. All right, now. Oh, there we go. Ninja Warrior Assassin. Hey, Ninja. There you go. Almost missed you. Damn. Okay, don't want to miss you. Who else we got in here? Marie Kelly. Hey, Marie Kelly. Welcome in. Who else am I missing? Anyone yet? Court of Public Opinion's back. Welcome. Thanks for coming on back in. 30 minutes later, right? All right. Christine Crafton. Hello to you. Welcome in. Good to see you. All right. Goddess. Hey, Goddess. Welcome in, Goddess. Welcome in, Amy Mickey. All right. Welcome in, y'all. Who else we got up in here? I'm getting there, y'all. Jeez, this is taking long. Hiawatha's back here. World's End, Goddess, I am. Christine, Aaron. Hey, Aaron. Good to see you. Okay. All right, we're getting there. Marie Kelly, Aaron, Oleg Cat. Hey, Oleg Cat, everybody. Oleg's coming in. Ghost in the Machine coming in. There you go. All right, Nancy Drew 101 coming in. Welcome in, Nancy Drew. Hydration. Yeah, it's water. Gretchen Allen, welcome in. Hey, Gretchen. Hey, Diana. Welcome, Diana. Okay, boom. We're making it in here. Heather Brown. Welcome, Heather Brown. Welcome, Jade. Jade's coming in. Hey, Jade. All right. Jennifer Hoff with the big dollar holla. $1.99. Welcome. Happy Friday. We love you. We love you. Thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer with the wrench, ladies and gentlemen. Jennifer with the wrench. Thank you, Jennifer. All right. Boom. All right. There you go. Jennifer, Gretchen Allen, Dirty Diana, Silence, Low Light Recovery. There he is. Welcome. Low Light Recovery has hail. Okay. Take care with the hail. Take care with the hail. What's up, Swade Smith? Swade Smith, y'all. What's up, y'all? Free Rick Allen. What's up? It's a new day. It's a new day. Y'all go subscribe to It's a New Day. Hit that subscription button. All right, y'all. We got Diana, Jade, Shibby, Heather, Asha Harry, Lowered Customs. There you go. Lowered Customs. Okay, boom. Hey ya. All right. Sandra Rowley. Silence, Mino Dino, it's a new day. Dieter, we got Mark Ellis, $100 holler. Prof, keep the good job up. Proof. Okay, what's up, y'all? It's called the Uniparty, Lowlight. It's called the Uniparty. We'll be discussing the Uniparty very soon. It's the Uniparty. It's the ops. Thank you, Zaddy, Mark Ellis. Thank you, Mark Ellis. Hey, Prof, I missed your lives, but you have kept us engaged. Well, thank you, and I'll keep doing so. Keep doing so, y'all. Mark, you help this channel more than words can describe. Nicole Watt, hey, what's up, Nicole, making it in? What's up, Nicole? Nicole. Mark, Nicole, Jennifer, Four Pits, Dom, Jade, Heather Brown, Amy, Five Green Acres, Mino Dino, Rebecca Ann, Low Light Recovery. All right. Heather Brown, Nancy Drew, Nicole Watt, Jennifer Hoff, Carol, there she is. What's up, Carol? Carol coming in with the hellos, with the hello, Carol. Use nice words. Loved your music with my coffee. Thank you, Five Green Acres. Put in the earbuds. It's a treat when you put in the earbuds. So thank you for the kind words, and recommend the headphones to everybody with the music listening. Hit that like, y'all. Okay, nobody, nothing. Nancy Drew, Pie Crust, Laura Dawson. There she is. What's up, Laura Dawson? And what's up, Plain Iron? Okay, boom. All right, y'all, boom. Erin, I said, I didn't forget you. I said your name. Okay. Music last night was a vibe. Thank you, Mr. Dom. I appreciate that real kind word. And hey, I got the piano back up and running. My deal with the piano is my piano tuner's sick, so she can't come tune the piano. So that's why I haven't been playing much of the acoustic piano. Christina Dean, welcome in. Welcome in, Christina. All right. Yeah, Rebecca Ann's been killing it. Yeah, there you go. Okay. All right, y'all. All right. Well, let's see. Oh, Possum Friend is there. You go. What's up, Possum Friend? Possum Friend, what's up? All right, Marie Kelly, what's up? So I think I'm getting everybody. Okay. We are approaching. I did miss you. I did. I missed you much. It's a new day. All right, y'all. You thought I heard Prof say you were mad at me. No, Heather. Nobody's mad at anyone. Oh, Heather. Why would anyone be mad at you? You guys, stop it. No one's mad at you. We all adore you. Kate Yu says hello. Okay, and then we got Liberties, Truth, and Justice. You had a tornado earlier? Probably did. They're really get looks like they're gonna get it in Kentucky. Pretty bad tonight. Okay. All right, y'all. So we're getting there. Holly Gibbons, hey y'all. I'll do my best to stay awake. Cancer treatments and work are wearing me out. Well, God bless Holly Gibbons. All right. Storm is headed your way. Oh, I see. It's my name for Karen Reed trial chat. Eliana Davidson, welcome in. Hello to you. Proof. It's Proof here. All right, boom. Rebecca Green, welcome to you. There she is, Rebecca Green. It's almost a month. I'm so glad to be back. I missed you guys. All right. Yeah, the ops. Trust me, we will be thoroughly presenting that to you at a future point. What's up, Sabina? Long time no see. Welcome to you. All right. Best chat on YouTube right here below. Enjoy it. Did I just hit the mic? Oh, pardon. The subject tonight is Friday night fights. You didn't look at the thumbnail? All right. Friday night fights. All right, y'all. So, I think I've caught up with everything. David Rogers. There you go. David Rogers is here. It's the effing dust storm that's wreaking havoc. It's just called wind. All right, y'all. Now, I'm glad to see everybody. I'm so glad we got through that. Rhonda Holton, hello. Hey, Rhonda. Rhonda with the wrench. Rhonda with the wrench, y'all. Listen, if I happen to have missed you, just say hello down below. Okay? That's what's up. That's what's up. But pretty much we got everyone said hello to, and I'm hoping another 100 come in because that's our normal crowd. We need to get the normal crowd in here. But we'll get started anyway. Because there's a bunch going down. I love your shows, Prof, and especially when you do your crazy laugh. Oh, that means when I really laugh. When I really laugh. When I really laugh, it's a loud, crazy laugh. And sometimes I exaggerate it a bit so to make you all laugh. But I know someone told me their dog always looks up and is startled whenever I crack up. But thank you, Holly. Appreciate that. I'll try to crack up a few times. I am says, hey, Prof, I'm not as rich as Markella's, but thank you for not allowing the trolls to intimidate you off the case. I'm not a troll. I've been following you since last year, but changed my name from Crazy Girl 1203 since TF gave Crazy such a bad name. Thank you very much. Email me, please, Crazy Girl. Appreciate that. That's very, very nice of you. I really do truly appreciate you and that super chat. And please email me. I'd love to talk to you. Okay, what's up, Goose's Gammy? What up, Goose's Gammy? Okay, Goose's Gammy coming in. Okay. Yeah, tornadoes in Kentucky, possibly. It looks pretty rough. I mean, I looked at the satellite and the satellite forecast. Looking pretty damn bad over there. So hopefully everybody got the storm shelters ready. All right. Thank you so much, though I am. Crazy Girl 1203. Or was it 1201? Well, wait, hold on. Yeah, 1203. Crazy Girl 1203. All right. All right, y'all. So, what's up, Goddess? All right. So, obviously, it's no surprise to you that there is a fracture in this community of sorts. Might not be quite what you think. Okay, it really might not be quite what you think. And everybody has their own ways of wrapping their minds around it and realizing things at different times. And so I think the most politically correct way to say it would be to say that there's a fracturing in the community. But to be more accurate, I should say that there are multiple fractures happening in the community on all sides, on the prosecution side, on the defense side, and in the narrative controller side. And it's kind of funny because not only are there multiple fractionings, but um, there's also some cross pollination going on. And so we're going to be talking about that at a future point. But I would just like you to understand that as a starting place, what we're looking at is a whole realignment of the entire community. And I do acknowledge and realize that I've been somewhat a major part of that because I did cause an uproar in the past 2 months about certain things that were taking place that I did not like. And I also stood up for Miss Kathy Allen very sternly and loudly. Okay, I let it be known some things that I wanted to advocate on her behalf for. And tonight, it's possible that I may yell a little louder about those things. We'll see where we get later in the show. But without a doubt, it needs to be said that there is a realignment going on. Uh, and a lot of it is behind the scenes or sort of outside of your peripheral vision, so you don't really understand what's going on. But trust me, there's a big shakeup. There's a lot of fractionings and also a lot of realignments going on, and so there are things that need to be talked about. But um, this is not going to end anytime soon, and I'd like to say it is not my intention to further this one day longer than it needs to be. I think everyone needs to really understand that because it's all been misconstrued, or actually, it's been intentionally framed that way by people that are being hateful. They're trying to attempt to put across this thing that I'm on the attack and that I am aggressing here. But you need to know for certain that I am not aggressing. I am responding and I am defending because when people bring my children into it, both my adult son and my young son into this whole kerfuffle, it's absolutely unacceptable and I will lash back. Okay? Okay? Uh, I will never allow it and I will constantly respond. And you guys should see some of the things that have been happening. You really should. You should see some of the things that's been happening. Okay? Some of the things that have been happening are absolutely unacceptable. Okay? Um, I don't necessarily want to detail it all, but Adrian has been victimized in a number of ways. Um, so have I. So have Kathy's closest friends. Okay? And that's what we're going to be getting into tonight because these things should not be happening. They should not be happening, period. The discussion of my children, the discussion of Adrian or her body parts, or the discussion of any Kathy's friends, okay, should not be happening, especially when it's coming from the moving forces behind the Rick Allen Justice website. And I will tell you now, don't you ever go to visit that website. Don't you ever send a tip into that website. Do not ever go and give your email to that website, and do not ever share or support or in any way endorse that website. Let me be clear, because the guiding force behind that website is on an all-out harassment campaign in collusion with the troll farm. He is co-mingling with the troll farm, and it's absolutely unacceptable. And ask yourself, when on earth would you ever see a Rick Allen is completely innocent co-mingling with a Rick Allen is totally guilty baby killer? Okay? So there's a lot. There's a lot. But because of the number of people who are running around trying to discredit and to smear and to gaslight and to do all of this craziness, I feel it necessary tonight to reiterate some things. And not only will I reiterate them tonight, but when you see the replays that are going to be rolled out during the week in the next several weeks, when you see something that says premiere, when you see premiere, it's not a live. It's primarily a video that I have uploaded. Okay, so I'm going to be going into old, important content, and I'm going to be uploading them in a condensed format and then premiering them. Okay, so you're going to see a lot of premieres of old presentations because I think the world has forgotten, at least these people, they have selective memory and they don't want to remember all the work that I've done on behalf of Richard Allen and Andrew Baldwin and Brad Rozzi and Jennifer Auger. So we're going to have to remind the world of all the hard work I've done here, especially in the past year. Now, you may have noticed if you look at my channel, I took down the first 100 live streams that I ever made, okay? So this first 100 live streams was called Let's Talk About Delphi, okay? And there was something happening, and that's what we're going to start off with tonight. Eventually, we'll eventually get into that. But after I explain it, you'll understand that my thing here is that I say the past 2 months of my work is more important than the past 2 years. And the past year of my work is more important than the first year. So we're going to be describing why I may have gone and gotten rid of those videos, because I would prefer people to focus on what I've done in the past year, because what I've done in the past year is very important. Remember, what's happened in the past year is we got all of the court filings and all of the disclosure from the courts that came through those filings. Remember, they did not find the Abbey on the Bridge photo on the victim's phone, a major piece of evidence, right? Also, that they did not have any phone dumps of any of the family, major revelations. Also, that they were asking for all the phone dumps and any interviews and etc., which obviously told you there was nothing in discovery from any of the family. So as we went through receiving these filings and dissecting them, it was revealed to us a lot of what we had already expected, okay, and hypothesized or theorized. So that's what we've done in the past year as all of these filings came through and these hearings happened. And it's just really odd that people would have forgotten all of that important work that still exists here on this channel. All you have to do is go watch it. For instance, I have 2 live streams called The Truth About Delphi, in which I lay out my entire theory with receipts. Very important, okay? And I've got one called The Confessions, and I've got one called, this and that and that. And there's all kind of live streams in the past year that are very information packed. For each one of those, I did in-depth presentations for you. So I think it's really important that we maybe rehash some of that, okay? You may remember how I introduced Adrian to you all. It's been over a year ago, but I did a show called Symbolism at the Crime Scene. One of my better shows to this date. Yep, Symbolism at the Crime Scene. And this show occurred because we had received the crime scene photos. We had received the drawings of the crime scene. We had studied the occult symbolism, and I had stumbled onto one of Adrian's first couple presentations in which she was looking at occult symbolism. Okay. And that's how I introduced Adrian to this channel, is that I brought her in to collaborate on that show and to present some of her material with me and with mine added, and then discuss. And boy, it's been a journey ever since. But even that's still on the channel. There's so much on the channel, so it's very important. But I want to go into that tonight, so y'all understand. Okay. Anyway, so we'll be talking about some of that and gradually get into it. And let's see. So I feel like first thing I want to do is go to my community page because those of you who are longtime viewers, you will know that my community page is a very important piece of the channels. Okay, two channels I have, the Prof and the Prof True Crime. Each of those channels, each of these channels has a separate community page. On each of those community pages is a lot of information, okay? Not to be taken lightly. Everything that goes on that community page is intentional. There are no accidental postings on the community page. So, anyway, we'll start by taking a look at the community page so I can get this rolling for you. All right. And see what we get here. All right. So we're going to be discussing a couple things. So I'll just read it first and explain after. Okay. This says, let's see. Let's see. Trying to do something here. Jeez. Okay. This says, why is some random dude who is not a resident of Indiana named Luke Nicholas, who's been harassing me ongoing now for 2 months, and who is allegedly the owner of the Free Rick Allen website, inserting himself in the case to such a degree that he is emailing multiple individuals behind the scenes in an attempt to try to convince them of my wrongdoing and drive a wedge in between our tight-knit relationships with outright lies. Not only has he engaged in a months-long campaign of harassment, doxing on Twitter, and he started a YouTube channel where he steals my content and clips it out of context to try and make me look like a malicious actor. But he has also sent out a handful of minions to stalk, harass me every day since I revealed the truth that he and the Due Process gang, i.e. Mean Girls, alongside state actors Michael Osbrook and Carol Weinecke, are behind the multiple leaks and disaster scenarios that have plagued the defense team. I will explain what follows below. Okay. And I say 1 of 5. This is an email recently sent to one of the closest associates of Mrs. Kathy Allen, whose name I've redacted. Here you will see that he is trying to get his message directly into the hands of Mrs. Allen herself. This is a direct message to Mrs. Allen. Here he alleges that I am working in a team with the man who set up the false tip for Rick Allen, and that I'm working on behalf of the same people who have controlled the online narrative going back years, which is seemingly an acknowledgement that the online narrative has been controlled for years. Apparently, I am a cancer to Rick's cause. Additionally, although I have stated hundreds of times that Rick Allen was absolutely wrongfully convicted and that he was blatantly railroaded by the state of Indiana in front of the entire world, apparently that's not good enough, because according to this line of thinking, you must blindly believe, quote unquote, in Rick Allen's innocence without exception, or you are useless and to be considered a non-person. Okay? So let me take a moment and read that email for you. You don't necessarily have to look at it. I'll read it for you, and then I'll continue. Okay, so let me see if I can read it for you now. So this is going to be an email that was sent to one of Kathy's best friends. Okay, it goes as follows. I hope you're real well. I just want to reach out and see if you're aware that Prof has effectively been working in a team with the man who helped set up the false tip for Rick Allen. His name is Alex Voorhees. Well, first of all, that's an outright lie. Alex Voorhees did not set up a false tip for Rick Allen, period. No one tipped in Rick Allen. Is that clear? I mean, we have an investigator, a former investigator in the live chat. She could probably vouch for me that there is no tip on Rick Allen, okay? Now, furthermore, it says, this isn't just about a personality drama. Listen, I genuinely feel that Prof has placed himself somewhere he shouldn't be. I don't believe he believes in Rick's innocence. And I believe he's working on behalf of the same people that have controlled the online narrative going back years. Oh, well, first of all, I don't have to believe in Rick's innocence. I don't have to believe in anything, do I? Do you have to believe in Santa Claus? None of us have to believe in anything. But here's what we can absolutely be convinced of. Rick Allen was railroaded and wrongfully convicted by the state of Indiana for the Delphi murders of Abby and Libby. There's zero doubt about it. It's a factual statement. Whoever cannot acknowledge that he was wrongfully convicted has some serious thinking to do. Think about this. They took a man, a civilian, before being proven guilty by a jury of his peers, and they threw him into a maximum security prison in the hole for over a year while he was being tortured, medicated, threatened with death and the death of his family, etc. Do you understand? We will continue. For me, it's good enough to suspect that Rick Allen is probably innocent factually, but also to absolutely be convinced that he was wrongfully convicted and railroaded by the state actors in Indiana. I will publish more information shortly, but I think it's important that you and Kathy are aware of this. And then he attaches 2 videos which are clipped out of context. Okay, clips out of context from 2 years ago. That's the hit right there. That's the hit right there. But then he says, I would love to help resolve this. Prof is a cancer to Rick's cause. Sure. Okay. Let's get back to it. Okay. Then there's part 2 here. It says screenshots 2 and 3. Okay. And I explain that the next email you're going to see is another email from this individual from more than 2 weeks ago that was sent to my friend, partner in crime, Miss Adrian of Enlight in the Dark. In this email, he tries to disarm her by saying that he's only there for her best interest. And although he's definitely trying to manipulate her and trying to drive a wedge in between her and her 2 closest friends, he says, I'm only here trying to help you. He then dives deep into a grand conspiracy, y'all, where he accuses me and Alex Voorhees of being criminal masterminds in partnership of the entire cover-up and narrative control of Delphi murders. Interestingly, though, he places Sue Wright, Dawn Toretti, and Christina Mack at the very center of this grand conspiracy. Again, he places Sue Wright, Dawn Toretti, and Christina Mack at the very center of this conspiracy. Just as Alex and Adrian have said for nearly a year now, placing them as the primary individuals responsible for pulling the strings behind the scenes of this massive PR campaign. Funny, though, how he twists everything to try to make Alex and myself the criminal masterminds behind the entire scheme. Also interesting, he admits that there are large and powerful interests at stake, something I would agree with. Okay? Yet somehow he uses a sleight of hand to make us, Alex and I, the primary actors in this grand conspiracy. And he continues by making other ridiculous leaps in logic, like the fact that Christina Mack alleges to live or have lived in Louisiana, a place where I formerly resided, somehow means that we are nefariously connected and working together to control the narrative behind the scenes around the Delphi murders. He then engages in the further smearing of my name by alleging that I was, quote, trying to bully CJ's wife into killing herself, totally leaving out the fact that I shared information regarding the domestic violence in that couple to shed light on the abuser's actions, which all ultimately resulted in domestic violence charges and arrest. Further ignoring the fact that I possess dozens of pages and reports of all of the various incidents and crimes concerning that domestic violence situation that I've never shared in an effort to preserve the privacy and dignity on the part of the victim. But considering all of this, if you back out and look at the overall context of this email, it's very clear what he was attempting here. In fact, it was so clear that Adrian immediately called and forwarded this email. Now, here's the email, okay? To Adrian, okay? To Adrian. Hey, Clermont's fine. Clermont's fine. I know Clermont. Clermont's fine. Clermont's talking about the author is projecting, okay? Sorry, Clermont, I can't untime you out. I don't know how to do the task. But let's read it. It says, to Adrian, tell me to piss off if you want, but I think we could both benefit from exploring something. To the extent you can appreciate, to the extent you can, I'd appreciate discretion, which means don't share this with anyone. Nobody on this side of the fence. What side is that? What side is this side? I thought we were all about defense-sided individuals. Okay, I thought we're all defense-minded individuals. Nobody on this side of the fence, on this side. Remember KO making that same quote? Do you guys remember the messages between KO and Alex that I shared? They're on the community page where KO says, nobody on this side is doing this. Do you see how I mean this whole thing about this side, that side, regarding Prof side versus the mean girl side? It's kind of bizarre, isn't it? Nobody on this side is aware that I'm writing to you or aware of the things I'm sharing here. I don't take orders. You don't have to believe that I'm not trying to manipulate you. Guys, anytime somebody tells you more than once or twice that they're not trying to manipulate you, they're probably trying to manipulate you. You're evidently highly intelligent. I gathered as much last year. I also think you've been put through the ringer by events of the last year. Yeah, I would say sending dead bodies to her email, sending violent pornography to her email, sending things to her house, placing things at her house. Yeah, I think she's been put by the ringer or through the ringer. I really don't have the mental bandwidth or time to be playing head games, and I don't like to take people for fools. Then what are you doing? I also lol that Prof believes I'm some kind of master semantic sleight of hand game player. No, I don't think it's you. I think that's the girls. But that's also not what I'm doing. There's a lot more than what's attached here, but take a look at the first two screenshots. The Cavalier thing is weird as hell. No, it's not. It's meaningless. The Google results screenshot is from searching Sue Wright, Alex Voorhees, which had misspelled Alex Voorhees, isn't it? Think about what was happening in July 2024. This was a period when you were still doing lives on Dan's channel. Yes, and being stalked by those same individuals that she was hanging with. And it was around the time that Sue Wright did her public about face on the Mean Girls. Same time as Tobor, CJ, allegedly swatting stuff. There's no swatting, okay? No one's gotten swatted. Okay, no one's been swatted. Police, one or two police officers coming knock on your door friendly style is not swatting. That's a whole other situation, though. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Spaniels, spaniels, spaniels. It's nothing. Okay, there's nothing about spaniels. Let's continue. Next page. Here's some more gaslighting. I know what it's like to have the feels for someone complicated and intelligent. And while I don't know all the details, I can see your personal life has taken a hit. Yes, because all of you stalking motherfuckers. Alex is clearly extremely intelligent, and just going by your public statements, you clearly feel deeply for him. I've been there. No, this is not about you guys having anything in common. Trust me. But here's where it gets crazy, y'all. And I almost feel like, yeah, I'll stick with it. But see where it's getting crazy here? This gets crazy here. Hold on. All right. Right here, we're reading second paragraph here. What if the connection pattern is not what you've been led to believe? If you remove the idea that Sue Wright is James's mother, then the house of cards falls down. If Sue knows Dawn, and if Sue is tangentially connected to Christina Mack, then it's possible the conspiracy is wider than the narrow lens we're currently focused on. Again, I'm not trying to manipulate you, but I am. You're not effing stupid, but I'm acting like you are. But you and I have been put in the middle of some. No. Prof and Adrian have been putting in the middle of something very weird as F. Okay, there are large, powerful interests at stake. Yes. Let's forward this a bit. Okay. Now it says, I'm also not a conspiracy theorist, which is ironic because, frankly, all the conspiracies have come true lately. And more to come, ladies and gentlemen. More to come. I can't connect the dots between Sue Wright suing Unum Insurance in multiple states and Christina Mack's husband or boyfriend working for Unum. Considering the role Mack has played going on 3 years now, but again, it's a pattern not to be ignored. One of Wright's lawsuits was in Louisiana. Baton Rouge is where Unum's headquarters is in Louisiana. Mack is from Baton Rouge. Prof was just 30, 40 miles from there until I think 2021, 2022. Maybe it means nothing. No, it absolutely means nothing. Maybe not. Sherilyn's husband lives in Vegas. Maybe something, maybe nothing. You're publicly aligned with Prof at the moment and for all future times. But recall when he was trying to bully CJ's wife into killing herself? No, sir, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. We're going to correct the record on that too. I don't know, Adrian. There are some gaps to fill in, but it feels like the tail is wagging the dog. Okay. No, there's more. All right. And I'm going to explain the more now. Because what happened is we're dealing with something that I need to, I want to read. I want to read something to you. Okay. And it's going to take me a second here. An ad hominem fallacy occurs when someone attacks the person making the argument instead of addressing the argument itself. It's essentially a personal attack used to discredit an opponent's position rather than engage with the substance of their claims. The term ad hominem literally means against the man and refers to arguments that target the person rather than their reasoning. And this is a logical fallacy. This fallacy is often used to discredit an opponent and their argument, to deflect attention from the actual topic being discussed, to make it seem like the audience doesn't understand the issue or cannot disprove the opponent's view. Types of ad hominem attacks. 1. Abusive ad hominem, directly attacking the person's character, appearance, or other irrelevant personal qualities. Circumstantial ad hominem, focusing on the person's circumstances, that is, job, political affiliation, etc., to suggest they are biased and their argument is therefore invalid. Some of that going on too. Hypocrisy, dismissing an argument because the person making it doesn't follow their own advice or believe what they are saying. A little touch of that too. Why it's a fallacy. An ad hominem attack is irrelevant to the validity of an argument. Just because someone is a bad person or doesn't believe what you believe or has a vested interest in the outcome doesn't automatically mean that their argument is invalid. This fallacy occurs when instead of addressing someone's argument or position, you irrelevantly attack the person or some aspect of the person who is making the argument. Okay? Now, the further we get into critical thinking and addressing the realities surfacing in the Delphi case, and by extension, the Delphi community, we have to be willing to understand that there are multiple fallacies or logical fallacies that are used to deflect, to diffuse, and to negate a person's valid arguments. And that's what we're getting into. So this next community post that I'm going to read to you from 2 days ago addresses that the fact that it's really odd that aside from all the cyber stalking, the gang stalking, the harassment, and the doxing, all of that stuff, the using of my son and the using of my child and the using of my family and the using of my appearance and the using of my profession, etc., that they would stoop to the level of going back and finding a clip from 2 years ago to this date. So as of 2 days ago, it was a 2 years on the spot. So finding a more than 2-year-old live stream to go clip out one sentence from. Okay? So I made this post that I would like to now read for you regarding that, so I can maybe help you understand my take on it. So this post says, this idiot Luke Nicholas, who is allegedly the owner of the Free Rick Allen scamming website, is so upset that I revealed the entire pyramid scheme behind his website and the attempt to sabotage the appeal team and financially swindle Mrs. Kathy Allen while simultaneously leaking discovery and collecting both email and IP addresses of the general public, that he is literally and openly engaging in brigading, defamation, and doxing in an attempt to harass me off the Delphi murders case. He recently posted a clip from a live stream that I recorded 2 years ago, in which I was sharing information that I had been force-fed in bad faith by George Nye and Holly Lowry at a time when I trusted them as sources, as they relayed supposedly insider law enforcement information that they claimed was directly from verified law enforcement sources within the Indiana State Police, who we can now assuredly assume must have been Jerry Holman and David Vito. Jerry Holman and David Vito. Although it's highly probable that George Nye was also receiving false information from known habitual liar and disinformation agent Mark Cohen. Luke Nicholas is currently trying to use that 2-year-old clip to discredit me, including by sending it directly to the friends of Kathy Allen. But he doesn't realize that people are not as nearly stupid as he is, and that people realize that individuals can change their minds over time. It's actually considered a sign of intelligence, especially when it's a known fact that I deliberately stepped away from both of these individuals, Holly Lowry and George Nye, over a year and a half ago, when I realized that they were both bad faith actors who were trying to sabotage my channel and who were feeding me false information directly from the Indiana State Police, David Vito and Jerry Holman. The fact is that what I have said in the past few months is much more important and relevant than what I might have said on my first few live streams over a year or 2 years ago. This is an obvious attempt at a distraction and discrediting campaign, period. Plumbing the depths of my channel for old, out-of-context quotations, out-of-date material from my first year of live streams is not only a cheap shot, but it demonstrates bad faith and bad intentions It's disingenuous. Okay? Below, you'll see Luke violating my privacy and doxing my business info, my location, my income, my legal name, etc. He's also doxing the name of a close associate of Kathy in an attempt to intimidate her as well. Okay? Now ask yourself, is this the guy you want to entrust your personal and private information to? Is this the guy you want to send your potentially dangerous whistleblower information and tips into? Is this the guy you would entrust your own email addresses and IP addresses to so that he can dig into your backgrounds and internet histories to harass you with and potentially post on the internet? Is this the guy you would trust with your financial donations when we know that there are still questions about the previously collected donation funds? Please do not visit that website, or your information may be at risk of being published on the open internet, just as mine has been. Why on earth would supporters of Rick Allen blindly trust someone who is behaving so irresponsibly and who is being openly combative with the friends and associates of Mrs. Allen? What on earth are the attorneys and supporters of Rick Allen thinking by recruiting such a reckless and untrustworthy internet criminal and such a combative, reckless, and untrustworthy individual to run their PR operation? Okay? And notice here, I want you to see this. Okay, please take a look at it. Does that look familiar to anyone? Anyone who knows my channel? I know 4Pits. 4Pits, does this look familiar? Does that look familiar, Pits? Look at the date. Look at the date. Let's Talk Delphi number 23. Streamed May 14th, 2023. Excuse me, what year is it? What year is it now? May 14th, 2023. Exactly 2 years to the day that I made this post. So this guy took a 2-year-old post, 2-year-old live stream, and clipped a portion where I was repeating, let's go back to this, bad information once again. Bad information, supposedly insider law enforcement information that I was fed by 2 individuals who claimed they had got it directly from verified law enforcement sources within the Indiana State Police. And of course, it makes sense to us now. This is what Jerry Holman and David Vito would say, right? This is what David Vito and Jerry Holman would say. They would say that Rick Allen was there. They would say that Rick Allen kidnapped the girls with a gun. Does it make sense to any retards? When I made the statement that I got from a source in the Indiana State Police that Richard Allen was there and kidnapped the girls at gunpoint with a weapon, this came directly from, what are the names here? Jerry Holman and David Vito. Who are Jerry Holman and David Vito? Okay. Now, anyway, you can explore that on the community page yourself. Okay. But here's where the harassment comes in. Because when you do things like that, You send a whole contingent of people after me based upon outdated, 2-year old, irrelevant troll farm information. So let's talk about that. Well, Prof, why were you listening to them? Well, let me explain to you why. Let me explain to you why I was listening. Because this is actually how it works. When you first come onto the case, now everyone listen closely. Kids, come here, kids. Come here. Pull up a seat. Pull up a seat. Let me explain something to you. This is how it works, okay? When you first come into the case, you're going to be surrounded by wolves. Okay, what I mean is, when you first come into the case, you're going to be swarmed by the troll farm, which means the very first people to befriend, embrace you, and offer you help are going to be the narrative controllers. So when you first come onto the case, you're going to all of a sudden find all of these people on all sides, your best friends. Why? Because they want to grab hold of you. When you're fresh, when you're wet behind the ears, when you're green, when you're a young one, when you come in naive, they want to take hold of you. They want to whisper in your ear. They want to be your insider sources. They want to show you the ropes. They want to let you go on each other's live streams. They're going to call you on the phone and ask, how are your kids? Let me say hi to your kids. How's your kids doing? Can I talk to your kids? Hey, it's uncle this one. It's aunt this one. How's the baby? That's how it happens. They will drip information to you that you are so hungry for, because you know how Delphi is. It's a gatekeeping community. So you'll be looking around and people are dripping. Drip. They'll drip you. Oh, I heard Keegan this. Oh, I heard there was a motorcycle cover. Oh, I heard there was cat fur and they dug up a dead cat. Oh, I heard that this one. Brad German. This. Oh, Becky said this. Oh, Vito said this. Hey, Prof. Yeah. Well, Vito told me this. Okay, you see how it works, kids? This is how it works. And it happened to me. And if you knew anything about me, you would have seen it happen to me. The very first people who had a leash on me were the troll farm shit stirrers. The number one troll farmers. They tell you what you can say. They tell you what you can't say. They tell you what to do. They tell you what not to do. They tell you who can hang around. They tell you who not to hang around. They tell you to go on this one's live stream. Oh, go on with that one. Oh, yeah, go on there with that one. Hey, you know who wants to talk to you? So-and-so invited you on his stream. Oh, hey, yeah, this guy's my bud. You should talk to him. It's a total control scenario, and you become a puppet on a string. Right? And that be the reason why 2 years ago I was making statements to that effect, because those statements were coming directly from Jerry Holman, directly from David Vito, right on in to my little ear, as important secret information from the Indiana State Police that nobody knows. All right. So I thought about it and I said, wow, that's something to try to convince the whole community that something that I was fed from David Vito and Jerry Holman 2 years ago means that I'm not worth listening to today when I've done hundreds of hours of advocating for Richard Allen. So I thought, hey, maybe I need to remind some people of some things, right? So I want to look at some things. Indiana State Police investigator Brian Harshman, another one, another one, another one. Brian Harshman says Richard Allen confessed 61 times. You see? That's a blatant lie. 61 times to the Delphi murders. Wednesday's hearing focused on motions from Allen's defense team that seek to suppress incriminating statements the defendant made while behind bars at the Westville Correctional Torture Guantanamo Bay facility. Allen has been locked up in maximum security state prison for 21 months since his arrest for allegedly killing Abby Williams and Liberty German in Delphi in early 2017. The Carroll County prosecutor says it has dozens of confessions, 61 times. All right. Defense attorney Brad Rossi presented evidence suggesting the confessions were coerced due to improper policies and intentional actions taken by investigators and prison staff that violated Allen's constitutional rights. The 8+ hours of compelling testimony, legal arguments, and evidence leave Special Judge Frances Gull with plenty to consider as she decides one of the most important questions still lingering ahead of the Delphi murders trial. Will jurors get to hear about Allen's confessions, or will the statements be considered off limits and inadmissible at trial? Confessions to a prison warden. Allen's defense attorney told the judge his client was sent to one of the state's harshest prison environments following his 2022 arrest, assigned to cell 107 inside the A block of the Westville Correctional Unit. During testimony, former Westville warden, which is a key term, by the way, former Westville warden, John Gallipo, acknowledged the isolation units like a prison inside a prison, usually reserved for convicted criminals facing disciplinary action inside the prison or those who require very close supervision. Allen was assigned to the maximum security prison to await trial despite having no previous criminal history. The Carroll County prosecutor requested a safekeeping order to house Allen in a prison rather than in the Carroll County jail because the county sheriff said he did not have adequate staff to ensure Allen's safety. Gallipo admitted he was not aware of any other pretrial detainee being assigned to the harsh conditions of the Westville Correctional Unit's 8 by 12-foot isolation cell during the warden's 28 years in the Indiana DOC. He said Allen was placed there at the direction of the top IDOC administrator so he could be observed under the prison's suicide watch protocols. Those protocols include an in-cell video camera that recorded Allen 24 hours a day, as well as other inmates assigned as suicide companions to stand and watch outside Allen's cell. The defense claims some of those other inmates violated prison rules by talking with Allen about his criminal charges. Talking with Allen about his criminal charges. Documenting Allen's statements for prison staff, and in some cases, sharing Allen's statements with their own family members. And by the way, I've said before, you guys do understand this, right? It was a two-way street. It wasn't just Allen's statements going out to the real world through the family members. It was statements from the real world, from the outside, coming in to Allen. You understand that? Threats were coming from the outside into Allen. The inmate suicide companions were then replaced by prison guards who stood watch and who also documented any incriminating statements made by Allen, according to the former key term there, former Westville warden. This is our nice guys, Paul and Razi here. While stationed outside Allen's cell, both inmates and guards reported that he confessed to the Delphi murders. Gallipo testified that Allen also confessed committing the murders directly to him during one of the warden's frequent visits to Allen's cell block to check on inmates. Of course. He confessed, Gallipo told the judge, adding that he never asked Allen about the murders and never told his prison guards to speak with Allen about the charges. Another witness told the judge about other confessions. Kaniva Maps, a lead investigator at the Westville prison, testified that her staff logged 2 confessions that Allen made while inside the prison and then turned those confessions over to the Indiana State Police investigators who issued a subpoena for the records. Dozens of other confessions. The day's most memorable witness was longtime Indiana State Police Detective Brian Harshman, also a psychic, apparently, who was assigned to monitor all reports, videos, and phone calls involving Allen while the murder defendant has been in prison. Asked how many incriminating statements Allen has made behind bars, Harshman inaccurately responded, 60 plus direct confessions. Now listen to that statement, ladies and gentlemen, because we now know that this is a complete inaccurate statement, and this was given to the judge. 60 plus direct confessions. No, they were not 60 plus direct confessions. You guys need to hold these people accountable. He stated 60 plus direct confessions. Do you think those were direct confessions? Remember, we did an entire episode. Hey, maybe Amy can go find it and link it. We did an entire episode in which we thoroughly went through Brian Harshman's testimony. And we now know there were not 60 plus confessions. What there were 60 incidents that Harshman took random words of Richard Allen and interpreted them as confession-like. But it's a whole other subject. It's in the channel. Go do your homework and watch my shows called The Confessions. He said some of those confessions included specifics of the Delphi murders that only the actual murderer would know. Not true. Now we know it's not true. Those confessions did not whatsoever contain information that only the actual murderer would know. Okay? Bullshit is what we call this. Harshman also testified that the confession started in March 2023 after Allen started reading a Bible in his prison cell and began proclaiming that he had found God. He said many of the confessions came during Allen's phone calls with his wife and mother. Yes, 60 of them, because you took every single word that he spoke to his family and you interpreted them as being of guilt because you, quote unquote, had learned the way that he talked. So you were able to tell what he meant even when he did not directly say it. But then you told the judge that he directly said it. You see where something don't make sense here? Something's not adding up. Harshman said, as time went on, Allen made additional incriminating statements to his family. Wait, did he make incriminating statements or direct confessions? Sounds like there's a difference. During much of Harshman's testimony, now this is where it's important. During much of Harshman's testimony, Allen shook his head in disagreement, shook his head in disagreement during Harshman's testimony while sitting alongside his attorneys. And again, we have Stacy Diener. We're talking about 61 incriminating statements. Wait, I thought they were direct confessions. Over the course of 2 months, said Stacy Diener. His statements were unsolicited. No, they were solicited. The ones directly to the babysitters were solicited under threat of death. And the ones to his family sounded like he had someone standing over his shoulder. We've heard them now. Oh, but it gets better. It gets better. It gets way better. All right, let's read it. Serious mental illness. A Foster prison psychologist who met regularly with Allen testified that she also heard Allen, quote unquote, confess to the murders. Dr. Monica Walla said Allen's mental health was, quote, extremely poor, critical, and deteriorating, and that he suffered from stress-induced psychosis at the time he made his confessions. Let's read that again for those who can't understand real words. A prison psychologist, Monica Walla, said that Allen's mental health was extremely poor, critical, and deteriorating, and that he suffered from psychosis at the time he made his confessions. She also testified that there was no doubt he had, quote, serious mental illness around that time, evidenced by Allen's attempts to, quote, beat his head into the wall. That's right, beating his head into the concrete wall and steel or iron door. Allen's face was black and purple from chin to hairline. Now, there's a reason we're reading this article. Okay. According to Walla, his medical chart stated March 23rd, Allen was depressed and withdrawn, and he said he was not straight in the head. Oh, this is when the confession started. April 4th, 2023, Allen suffered from insomnia, hopelessness, and was suicidal, stating death would bring relief to him. April 13th, 2023, Allen was exhibiting bizarre behavior, according to Walla, including consuming his own feces, and was suffering from a grave disability. The prison psychologist ordered Allen to receive an involuntary injection of psychotropic medication, i.e. Haldol, and he was overdosed for his body weight, by the way, but you guys don't know that yet. April 21st, 2023, Allen's thoughts were disjointed and he was saying strange things. Walla discussed he might be considered incompetent to stand trial. Remember, this is from her notes, from his medical chart. And on May 3rd, Allen said he wanted to confess to details of the crime. And in particular, ladies and gentlemen, I chose this article because of the quality of its reporting and the addition of this photo right here. Because this is how they did this, man. By taking a pre-trial detainee, placing him in a maximum security prison in the hole for over a year while being threatened with the murder of himself and his family. This is someone who's not eating, who's not sleeping, who's harming himself, and who's being threatened with death on a daily basis. This, ladies and gentlemen, is torture. This should be the billboard for domestic terrorism, for the torture of a human being, of a pretrial detainee, of a factually innocent man by the state. There's no greater evidence of that than this single image. They treat prisoners at Guantanamo Bay better than this. May 18th, 2023, Allen receives another dose of psychotropic medication. May 23rd, 2023, Allen diagnosed as suffering from stress-induced psychosis. June 8, 2023, Allen's depression at its peak. Noticed trembling and knees buckling. Look at the man. June 16th, Allen receives another dose of psychotropic Haldol injection. By late June, mental health improving. By the way, his weight tanked 40 to 50 pounds during this period. Allen's defense team claims the confessions fall within the time frame of Allen's severe psychosis diagnosed by prison psychologists. They told the judge the IDOC failed to provide Allen adequate mental health care during that time because prison staff and investigators prioritized his status as a safekeeper inmate who had been monitored around the clock in an isolation cell rather than following department guidelines that require inmates, especially those suffering from severe mental illness, to be housed in isolation no longer than 30 days. Allen has been held in isolation for 19 months. Razi said keeping Allen in those conditions while also placing other inmates and guards outside his cell to record his statements, constantly videotaping his behavior and movements, and monitoring all his texts and phone calls, resulting in multiple violations of Allen's basic civil rights and human rights, including his right to due process, his right to legal counsel, his right against self-incrimination, and cruel and unusual punishment. This comes down to whether actions by the state of Indiana constitute an interrogation and whether he had a right to have his attorneys present under the Sixth Amendment, Razi correctly told Judge Gull. Because he believes the confessions were essentially coerced, Razi wants the judge to suppress all the confessions, which means a jury would not hear them during the murder trial. Thursday morning, he and Diener will summarize their arguments for the judge, and she is then expected to take the issue under advisement, with a ruling coming within the next several weeks. Gull's decision will be incredibly important for both sides and could directly impact or dictate the outcome of the trial. What do you think she decided? Other notes from Wednesday's hearing. Prison psychologist assigned to treat Allen testified that she has been long fascinated by the Delphi murders and that she and her boyfriend traveled together to Delphi so that they could visit the crime scene and stand on the high bridge prior to learning of Allen's arrest. Dr. Foster Monica Waller said she frequently listens to true crime podcasts about the Delphi murders case. Yes, she's a Delphi murders fangirl, remember. She regularly, frequently listens to Delphi true crime podcasts during her commute to Westville Prison and has commented on social media ad nauseum about which of those podcasts she recommends. She also admitted she used her DOC-issued computer to research other people mentioned as having possible involvement in the murders, a possible violation of departmental policy. Walla testified she also spoke with Allen about the positive comments she has read online from his supporters, and she advised him not to discuss his possible involvement in the murders with anyone other than his defense attorneys. Does that seem appropriate to you? When asked by Brad Razi if her actions presented a conflict of interest and ethical problems, Walla responded, "I disagree." Also a former employee of Westville, I might add. The most significant issue is whether the judge will disallow the defense from presenting its theory that other suspects with ties to white supremacy, the Benlander Social Club, i.e., Odinism, may have murdered Abby and Libby as part of a pagan ritualistic sacrifice The defense claims investigators and prosecutors ignored credible leads and recommendations from other law enforcement officials pointing towards specific individuals who have odinistic tattoos and are post on their social media that match markings found at the crime scene. Prosecutor McClellan wants the judge to restrict all reference to those alternate suspects and related investigation reports from other law enforcement officers because he claims they lack relevance and would, quote unquote, confuse the jury. An icy relationship between Gull and Richard Allen's defense team seems to have thawed after many months of conflict and contentious interactions, including Gull and Allen's lawyers asking the Indiana Supreme Court to remove the other from the case. Both sides have displayed nothing but professionalism, patience, and courtesy throughout the first 2 days of pretrial hearings. At one point during Wednesday's hearing, Gull and defense attorney Brad Rozzi were smiling at one another and seemed to be sharing a lighter moment during a brief meeting between the judge and attorneys. While the climate is improving inside the courtroom, Rozzi could not catch a break outside the courthouse. He left Tuesday's hearing to discover Carroll County law enforcement had issued him a parking violation for parking along the courthouse square for more than 2 hours. And I want to thank 21 News Live for that particular well-written article. No, it ain't over. I want to remind you of Robert Baston's letter, or letters. Right? The judge, prosecutor, and attorneys in the above cause number have a duty and have taken sworn oaths to uphold the state of Indiana and U.S. statutes, laws, and Constitution. And the judge, prosecutors, and attorneys have failed to report the inhumane conditions, human and civil rights violations at Westville Restrictive Housing Unit at Westville Correctional Facility that they have been made aware of. The attorneys for Richard Allen have exposed the inhumane conditions, and pictures of Richard Allen clearly proves the before and after poor conditions of Richard Allen. Do you guys understand what he's saying? The attorneys for Richard Allen have exposed the inhumane conditions, and pictures of Richard Allen clearly proves the before and after of the poor conditions of Richard Allen and his poor mental health. And the judge and prosecutor have ignored those poor, inhumane conditions. Okay? The judge and prosecutor are aware of my letters to the court exposing the inhumane conditions and still have ignored the issues and poor treatment of Richard Allen. Richard Allen is not convicted and being treated like a state of Indiana prisoner because a county sheriff department cannot keep Richard Allen safe. That is their duty as keepers of the county jail. So let's send Richard Allen to a state of Indiana correctional facility that is constantly short-staffed, creating unsafe, dangerous prison inhumane conditions. I used to be in a cell just above Richard Allen, and as soon as I started voicing my opinion and advocating the abuse, mistreatment, and inhumane conditions of Richard Allen, myself, and other inmates back in April of 2023, Remember, April of 2023 is when he's having this severe psychotic episode start escalating. And I started recording times and dates of incidents. The corrupt Westville Correctional Facility warden, John Gallipo, custody supervisor, Chad Cornett, Westville Restrictive Housing Unit Captain Gary Lewis, and manager, Mrs. Tracy Cornett, retaliated on me approximately April 29th, 2023, and had me moved from APOD away from defendant Richard Allen. Then on May 4th, 2023, remember the same day or two that Richard Allen was at the height of his psychosis, a corrupt Lieutenant Larry Crittenden places me on strip cell status and has corrupt Sergeant Robinson, Officer Garou, and Officer Pleasant remove all of my property from my cell so I could not write or record dates and times of incidents, and went through my property to destroy any incriminating dates and times that I had recorded. The next morning, May 5th, 2023, again, right at the height of Richard Allen's psychosis, I was placed at 7 a.m. in full trip gear restraints with handcuffs, black box, belly chain, leg shackles on security cam, and corrupt Sergeant Brandon Williams and officers removed me from the holding cell and escort me back to my assigned cell in Restrictive Housing Unit, Westville Correctional Facility, B6202, and Sergeant Brandon Williams orders one of his corrupt officers to run my mattress and bedding through the urine on the floor of the cell since I was left in a cell overnight with no running water or toilet. And then corrupt Sergeant Brandon Lewis can be seen on security cameras slamming me to the floor while in full trip gear restraints and violently twisting on my foot and ankle until they break, and then intimidating the nurse not to treat my injuries of a broken foot. And ankle until they, and a stab wound to my elbow, all the way to the bone that was bleeding badly from an ink pen sticking out of Sergeant Brandon Williams' stab vest. And I was then taken back to my assigned cell B6202. Then at approximately 10:45 a.m., which is just 2 hours later, or 3, corrupt Sergeant Brandon Williams returns to my cell with no verbal command to come to the cell door and no video camera recording. Sergeant Brandon Williams opens the handcuff portal in the cell door and sprays me with OC pepper spray while I was laying in bed suffering from my injuries earlier that morning. Corrupt Sergeant Brandon Williams leaves me in the cell asphyxiating for approximately 10 minutes before removing me from the cell. Sergeant Brandon Williams, former officer Sergeant Motts, Officer Clemens, an unknown officer, take me out of view of security cameras in the hallway, and Officer Quentin Davis tells Sergeant Brandon Williams to hold me up while Officer Quentin Davis violently punches me in the ribs and stomach, breaking my ribs. And former Officer Sergeant Motts kneed me in the face while corrupt Westville Correctional Facility warden John Gallipo, Dr. Monica Walla, and Mrs. Bourne watched the beatdown. Yes, you heard that. John Gallipo, Monica Walla, and Miss Bourne watched the beatdown. In May of 23, right after the excessive use of force assault with bodily injury, attorney Brad Rossi, the attorney for Richard Allen, requested an interview with me concerning the poor treatment of Richard Allen and other inmates at Westville Restrictive Housing Unit and the inhumane and civil rights, human and civil rights violations going on. And someone at either the IDOC Central Office or Westville Correctional Facility Warden Gallipo denied that interview because they did not want attorney Rossi to see and record my injuries that they were trying to cover up. I remained in a cell for over a month suffering from my injuries before I received medical treatment. After being taken off strip cell and receiving my property back, and contacting the state of Indiana Governor's Office of Ombudsman Bureau, who contacted the IDOC Office of Investigation and Intelligence, who then got me medical treatment for only my broken foot and ankle, where x-rays confirmed my broken foot and ankle were broken. Again, left in a month with a broken foot and ankle before he even got an x-ray. There needs to be a disbanding of the corrupt IDOC, Office of Investigation and Intelligence, and state and federal investigations. Federal investigations, state and federal investigations into the corruption going on and the inhumane conditions, human and civil rights violations due to the constant staff and officer shortages going in all IDOC facilities. That's creating unsafe and dangerous prison conditions. On November 8, 2023, an inmate at Westville was murdered. In June of 23, an inmate died of starvation in Westville Restrictive Housing Unit. Inmates have died of suicide in IDOC facilities due to this corruption. Westville Restrictive Housing Unit custody staff say that they care about inmates' quality of life, but I have not had a shower since October 2nd of 2023. Okay, and this is November 23rd, this letter is written. It's November 23rd, and he hasn't had a shower since October 2nd. And there's other inmates who haven't showered longer than that because inmates do not want to shower when officers are leaving inmates locked in a tiny triangle shower for hours with no place to sit down and having to stand up because of short-staffed officers. There's also very cold, very cold at times in the winters. The corrupt Westville Correctional Facility warden John Gallipo does not allow the Christian Amish church group called Christmas Behind Bars to pass out Christmas sacks to inmates because Warden Gallipo is the leader here of a pagan, white, nationalist group called Odin. The corrupt staff and officers here at Westville Correctional Facility and other Indiana Department of Correctional Facilities wear Odin and Punisher patches on their uniform and staff stab vests. The corrupt staff and officers that wear the Punisher and Odin patches is a group of good old boys who assault, torture, abuse, and mistreat inmates. I submitted an IDOC grievance to the IDOC Office of Investigations and Intelligence concerning the Odin and Punisher patches, but the grievance never got processed due to this corruption. Okay? Sorry. When I was in a jail cell just above defendant Richard Allen, I witnessed officers taunting him. Listen! Sorry, I'm getting mad now. Now I got to get big here. I got to get big. Right here. When I was in a jail cell when I was in a cell just above defendant Richard Allen, I witnessed officers taunting him, calling him a baby killer, kid killer. When I was in a jail cell just above defendant Richard Allen, I witnessed officers taunting him, calling him a baby killer, a kid killer, and deliberately slamming the shower door next to his cell to either wake him up or just annoy Richard Allen. I also witnessed other abuse and mistreatment of Richard Allen. There are dozens of lawsuits on the staff and officers at Westville Restrictive Housing Unit in the U.S. Northern District Court of Indiana that clearly show a pattern of assault, torture, abuse, and mistreatment of inmates by corrupt staff and officers. The Indiana Department of Corrections seems to put their corrupt staff and officers in their restrictive housing units who assault, torture, abuse, and mistreat inmates. Okay? What more do you need to see? The first time that Richard Allen's defense team noticed Sergeant Jones and Robinson in the patches shown above was April 3rd, 2023. Remember, this is the date of the bullshit. This also coincides with the time frame that Richard Allen's mental health began a steep decline. From that point forward, these two guards seemed inseparable from Richard Allen. Odinist correctional officers, Robinson and Jones, would walk Rich Allen to and from his attorney visits, as well as on one occasion when Richard visited his wife, always wearing these patches. For a period, Robinson and Jones were also videotaping Richard Allen and his interactions with his attorneys. This ended only upon complaint by Richard's attorneys after several visits. Additionally, Sergeants Robinson and Jones were always close enough to Richard to be assured that Richard did not feel comfortable talking to his attorneys or to his wife without knowing that these Odinist guards were within earshot of anything he would tell his lawyers or wife. Max Baker and Matthew Hoffman have both been part of Richard Allen's defense team since December of 2022 and have met with Richard on several occasions. Paragraph 10 of Max Baker's affidavit provides insight into some of what was going on at Westville with Odinist guards Jones and Robinson. During one memorable visit on May 4th, 2023, says Max Baker, Attorney Baldwin, Attorney Rozzi, met with Richard Allen to discuss matters involving the case. At this time, Richard Allen was in a mental and physical state of deterioration and was nearly non-communicative. During this visit, Richard Allen repeatedly asked whether or not his wife was okay and if his family was okay. He claimed on a couple of occasions that they were going to kill him. When asked who he was referring to as they, Richard Allen responded by saying, the guys with the Odin patches. Okay? Robinson and Jones. Okay? And what here did Baston say? Gallipo is a leader of a pagan white nationalist group called Odin. The corrupt staff and officers wear the Odin patches. They torture, abuse, and assault and mistreat inmates. Right? Do we got that right? Okay. I got to get my right page number, please. Apologize for a moment. Get my page number together. How's everybody in the chat? What up, y'all in the chat? Do your thing. Okay, so we need to go. Let me go to this page for you guys, please. I want to clarify a statement here. Beginning on April 3rd, 2023, and for several visits thereafter, the Westville Correctional Officers, Robinson and Jones, videotaped attorney visits between Richard and his defense team. Most of the time, if not every time, it was Jones or Robinson bringing the handheld camcorder to the visit. Correction officers even required Richard Allen be positioned facing the window where the correction officers were videotaping the attorney visits with the handheld camcorder. This positioning of Richard Allen's body would allow the corrections officers to videotape Richard Allen's mouth as he talked to his attorneys. Richard would therefore not be able to privately discuss anything with his attorneys, such as, the guards are telling me that my wife and family will be killed unless I call my wife and tell her I killed those girls. Instead, a mentally defeated Richard Allen would continuously mutter to his defense team at every visit these types of general questions. Listen to this. Richard Allen would continuously mutter to his defense team at every visit these general types of questions. Is my wife alive? Is my family alive? Is my wife safe? Is my family safe? Is my wife alive? Is my family alive? Is my wife safe? Is my family safe? Back to the end, right? Back to the end. What was the Max's version of that? Is let me grab it. Is my wife okay? Is my family okay? They are going to kill him. The guys with the Odin patches. Okay? Is my wife alive? Is my wife okay? Is my family alive? Is my family okay? Okay? Is my wife alive? Is my family alive? Is my wife safe? Is my family safe? When I was in a cell above Richard Allen, I witnessed officers taunting him, calling him a baby killer, a kid killer, and deliberately slamming the door. They were torturing, abusing, assaulting, and mistreating inmates. So what's the story? We made it all up? Everybody's making it all up? Is that the story? Is that where we're supposed to be? That everybody's making everything up? This is all made up? So everybody's making it up. Every one of these sources is making this all up. Is that the line? Okay. Now there's additional. I want to get something here because the next question is okay. So that's where he is, right? He's in Westville. He's placed in this Viper's Den. How'd he get there? Let's take a little look because, everything's been done already. Mr. Allen had the right to have a judge other than Judge Diener decide whether to issue a safekeeping order or not. Because Judge Diener had engaged in ex parte communications with Sheriff Lesenby, helping Sheriff Lesenby to draft the safekeeping request, which is in violation of Rule 310 of the Code of Judicial Conduct. The safekeeping request is what lands him in the custody of the DOC, where then the top administrator at the DOC can place him wherever the hell they want, which means they were able to put him in Westville because it was their choosing. This sounds like a whole entire scheme that Judge Diener was solely responsible for. Remember, Judge Diener engaged in ex parte communications and helped Sheriff Lesenby write the safekeeping request. Having violated both Rules 310 and 2.9 of the Code of Judicial Conduct, Judge Diener was obligated under Rule 211 of the Code to recuse himself before signing the safekeeping request and request appointment of special judge before he issued the safekeeping order, not after, which is what he did. Okay, well, let's go look at that. Request by Sheriff of Carroll County to transfer inmate. Oh, this should have said, though, request by Benjamin Diener. Get it? Here's a lie by Tobe Lesenby. I filed a request by the Sheriff of Carroll County to transfer inmate from custody of Sheriff to custody of DOC. In my motion, I cite the reason for safekeeping is due to safety and security of the defendant and to protect jail staff and officers from handling the defendant due to the extensive coverage of the case by an array of various media platforms. Okay? Listen to this. Listen to the perjury. That the court at no time gave me legal advice on the motion pertaining to safekeeping. Number 7, the court gave me at no time legal advice on the motion. Is it fair to say you filed a motion asking for a safekeeping order with this court in November of 2022? Yes, sir. And have you had a chance to review the motion in advance of coming here? Yes. Did you draft this motion yourself? Actually, I had presented a similar motion, request, I should say, to the court. And as recall, the court had actually come up or provided this particular document. The court, I presented a similar motion to the court, and the court had actually come up with this particular document. Number 7, the court at no time gave me legal advice on the motion pertaining to safekeeping. What is an affidavit? Toe Blesenby under oath under the penalties of perjury. Number 7, number 13, 14, and 15. This document? Yes. And then you were asked to sign it? Yes. And who asked you to sign this? The court. And who's the court? Judge Diener. Okay, the information that's contained in this motion, did you offer up all the information, or was some of that offered up by Judge Diener and others? The wording, if I understand you correctly, where was the information that I had originally documented in a previous request. And so the wording was simply adjusted in his document, that the wording was the same. It was just that it was adjustments were made by the court with this document. Okay, did you provide the court any additional documentation in support of, I'm going to call these allegations, in support of these allegations before this document was finalized? Again, the only thing I recall providing again is similar information. Okay, well, let's get to the brass tacks here. Did you offer up any emails or with threats or of Mr. Allen's life or jail staff or anything? No, sir. The only thing I had mentioned, obviously, this being high profile. Okay, so the way I understand this, you didn't offer up any supporting documentation at all other than just your thoughts about the high profile cases in the media, which is frankly referenced here? Yes. Okay. I want you to go back to this. Number 6, I cite the reason for safekeeping. In other words, the reason for putting him in Westville, where he was tortured and abused and confessions were coerced, is due to the safety and security of the defendant and to protect the jail and staff from and other officers from handling the defendant due to, who does he blame? The media. Extensive coverage of the case by the media. And you'll remember this. This is the order in which Judge Diener says there's a maelstrom of interest from the public. The public's bloodlust for information is extremely dangerous. No one feels safe. See? You're getting the message here. So, what was the entire scam over? The public's bloodlust of information, the maelstrom of interest, or as Lesenby says, the extensive coverage of the case by an array of various media platforms. So the media and the public are the excuse they use to hand Richard Allen over to the DOC with, I would speculate, foreknowledge that Westville would be his destination. So Friday night fights. How genuine is it to say that Prof doesn't believe in Rick's innocence because of something he said 2 years ago, before we knew any of this? It's not a good faith argument. Ad hominem attacks don't change reality. You don't have to believe in Rick Allen's innocence to advocate for justice. That's the bottom line. The truth is the truth. And the truth is that what we have witnessed is an entire network of control be set into motion to railroad a man and force a guilty verdict because he was belligerent and did not comply with a plea deal. You see, I've said so many times, they never thought this would go to trial, ever. This is why they had the narrative controllers pushing the rhetoric that he's going to plea. He's going to plea. He's definitely going to plea. Guarantee it. Guarantee you he's going to plea. This is why they pushed that narrative point, because they were going to force him to plea. I mean, what do you think this is about? See? What do you think this is about? Where's the other one? You see? There's one thing you cannot change, and that's the truth of what happened. If he had not been placed in Westville, you would have an entirely different outcome. He had to be placed in Westville because he had to have the foot on his neck to force a plea deal. Remember these words very, very well when you go out into the world, ladies and gentlemen. Is my wife alive? Is my family alive? Is my wife safe? Is my family safe? Is my wife okay? Is my family okay? They are going to kill him. Who's they? So, like Rick Snay says, what happened here? He defied. As a result of his defiance to plea, he was forced into a situation where confessions were coerced out of him. And that was used along with potentially corrupted jurors in the selection process to ensure a guilty verdict. Richard Allen was not allowed any defense at all. All relevant exculpatory evidence was left out. All. And it gets worse because the narrative controllers were also pulling on the defense's ear. Oh, yeah, you knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. The narrative controllers were bending the defense team's ear. leading them down a path in which tunnel vision prevailed. Those with an undue influence on the defense railroaded Richard Allen. The judge, by excluding all exculpatory defense strategies, railroaded Richard Allen. The prosecutor and the entire Indiana State Police railroaded Richard Allen. The corrupt state actors, being those who tested ballistics, the doctors, medical examiner, the entire state of Indiana complex railroaded Richard Allen. Oh, we have to free Rick now. We have to get Rick out of prison. He's rotting away in prison. We have to get Rick out now. Sorry. They won this first round. The only, the surest, the best, and the quickest route to freeing Rick Allen and getting him out now is the appeal, the appellate process. And that's the truth that no one on either side wants you to understand. So anyone lying to you, saying that I'm a cancer to Rick's cause, saying that I'm sabotaging Rick Allen and Kathy Allen, saying that I'm the reason Prof and Eric are the reason Rick Allen's still in prison today. Please understand, they are all either lying to you or ignorant of how reality works in this process. The bottom line is they won the first round. Now, there's an opportunity for truth to win the second round. But that's a process. And the appeal is that process. Everybody needs to snap the fuck out of it. Okay? The bottom line is all of the people attacking me right now, they don't care about Richard Allen. They don't care about Kathy Allen. They don't care about getting Rick out of prison. They care about one thing and one thing only, and that's themselves. Yeah. The need to be right, the need to be seen, the need to be better than, the need to be louder than. You see, the bottom line is if Mrs. Allen wanted to solicit the help of the people who are being the loudest now, she would have already done so. I think that Mrs. Allen wants to solicit the best help possible, which is what she is doing. And so, you've got a high profile case. You have your choice of highly reputable attorneys and investigators, etc. And let's be real, Mrs. Allen knows that as well. So stop your shit. Let's get back to telling the truth about Rick Allen, about the Delphi murders, and honestly, about this community in general. Because here's the thing no one wants to hear: this community is infested with people trying to steer the narrative. It's the way that things are. And if you haven't seen it for yourself, I would suggest you look around. They might be your best friends. They might be the people right next to you in the chat below or in other chats or in discords you share or in the comment sections under Delphi videos. This community has a PR campaign that has had an ironclad grip on it for years. And it's slipping away. And it just might happen to be exposed. So no matter what you do, I'll be here doing what I do. And I will definitely be posting old content ad nauseum to endlessly repeat this message to the world. And that's what Rick Snay says. We need to be telling people about what happened here. That's the most important story. Whether you believe Rick Allen is innocent or guilty, you have to at least be willing to admit that he was wrongfully convicted, that he was railroaded by the state of Indiana, that he was put in a maximum security prison as a pretrial detainee in solitary confinement for over a year, such that he had a complete physical and mental breakdown. And you think that that's right? What if it were you? What if it were your brother, your father, your mother, your daughter? Let me tell you something. When the trolls come in, that's when you know I'm telling the most truth every single time. When the trolls are loudest, it's when they're most afraid. So you look at this. And you think about how this is possible in this day and age. 2025. 2025. I've said it before and I'll say it again. We need an Allen's Law. And Allen's law would state that no pretrial detainee can ever be placed in a maximum security prison. Neither can they be placed for more than 30 days in solitary confinement, suicide watch, protective custody. We need an Allen's law. This country needs an Allen's law because what they've shown the world should never be seen again. And that's just bottom line. As I said in my post, let's go back to it. Let's go back to my post and I'll close out that way because I think you need to really see what I said with the fresh lens now that you've heard this. Let's see. Whoops. All right. Right here I say one more time. I say here he alleges that I am working on a team with the man who set up the false tick for Rick Allen, and that I'm working on behalf of the same people who have controlled the online narrative going back years, which is seemingly an acknowledgement that the online narrative has been controlled for years. Apparently, I'm a cancer to Rick's cause. Additionally, also, although I have stated hundreds of times that Rick Allen was wrongfully convicted and that he was blatantly railroaded by the state of Indiana in front of the entire world. Again, hundreds of times I've stated that he was wrongfully convicted and that he was blatantly railroaded by the state of Indiana in front of the entire world. See? And that's the truth. In front of the entire world, the state of Indiana did that to him, man. All right. So that's my show for tonight. That's a way to smack you in the face with cold blooded facts. Prof's Friday Night Fights Round 4. It's a damn shame it is. It's ugly. But that's what it is. So I want to thank you all who came here, and I will look at the chat on the way out. Especially want to thank our sponsors this evening. I'm going to read their names again. Jennifer Hoff, It's a New Day, I Am, Mark Ellis, Deb, Rebecca Ann, Heather Brown, and CJ Lass. Thank you all so much for sponsoring the channel, supporting us in the way that you do every single time. So appreciate it. Okay. And thanks for sticking around and talking to us. See if we can move this. All right. Special shout out to Cromley. LB. Hey, LB. I'm glad I got to hang out, even if I didn't get to chat much. Carol says, thank you, Prof. Keep up the great work. Hey, Jennifer, thank you again. Good night, everyone, says Artist. Dirty Diana says, thanks, Prof. You the best. Author Claremont is waving. All right. Hedby Brown says hello and thank you. Good night, says Christina. Oh, yeah, please hit the thumbs up on the way out, says Miss K. Hit that thumbs up. Thank you, Artist formerly known. Good to see you. Silenced. Thank you for the compliment there. Thank you for saying nice live. Thank you, Mark Ellis, again for the support. And saying thank you, Prof. Prof is the proof. The proof is in the pudding. All right. Hey, what's up, Ninja Warrior? Thank you for saying, hope everyone has a beautiful night's rest. Thank you so much. Okay. Silent G, what's up? What's up, Silent G? Appreciate that. What's up, Critter Mama? Thank you for that. Great show. Details were on point. Only the facts, and only the facts. Four pits. What's up, 5 Green Acres? Thank you, Mr. Who's Daddy, for the nice words. All right, Ghost in the Machine. All right. Deal with something here. All right. Some dumbass distracting me because the trolls love coming in when I'm making it bad for them. What's up, Plain Iron? Proof positive. It is what it is. I mean, look, looks like we got some perjury and some Brady violations. Just to me, though, I'm the lawyer. Remember, I'm just some dude sitting on the internet while my kid screams in the background. Really? Really? While my kid screams in the backyard, I'm just some dude on the internet who doesn't know shit.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
All right. All right. Thank you, 5 Green Acres. Thank you, Nicole Watt. What's up? Thank you, all the mods, especially my main mod, Amy. Mwah. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Amy. All right. What's up, Jennifer Hoff? I have to do that. That's a great idea. It's a great idea. Can I support? Can I screenshot that so I remember it? Great idea. All right. Thank you, Silenced. All right. All right. Thank you, Nancy Drew. Thank you. All right. Who else we have up in here? Commentator Root. Thank you, sir. Or ma'am. I don't know. Don't cry, heavy metal. Don't do that. Yeah, what did you get at trial? Nothing burger. Nothing burger. And remember, there's also that weird anomaly in trial about the day before. Remember, who brought the girls around? All these years it was supposed to be Anna, but then Derek German took the stand and it was Derek suddenly. What's the anomaly there with who took the girls around on Sunday? All right. All right, y'all. Let's see. They need to be right so they don't have to admit that they are accountable for their shitty behavior. They manipulate the viewers to believing they are the victims as they being challenged by Prof creators and the viewers. Yeah, it's called Darvo. That's what they do. It's one of it's goes hand in hand with the logical fallacies. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Okay, I'm ready to get out of here, y'all. I guess. Shout out to Cromley, to commentator. Oh, sir. Okay, yes. Thank you, commentator. To Cromley, to Silent G, Heather Brown, Heavy Metal Rehab, Miss Deb, right? Trial Junkie. What's up, Trial Junkie? Miss Pie Crust. Omart Newmort. Okay. Who's her daddy? Sweet Dude Shibby, Nancy Drew, Miss K. Who else we got up in here? I think I caught most people. If you want me to say hi to you, do it right now before we get out of here. Uh, I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my evening. But damn, I sure did have a nice time talking with you. And I didn't read too much chat, but we'll do more chat next time. Um, all right. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. Cheers to all. What's up, Goddess? Thank you for dipping in. Goddess, Becky, B33. Okay. All right. Amy says good night to you all. All right. Some of you guys go on over Miss Diana's. Okay. Go to Miss Diana's. What's up, Sunflower? All right. All right. Thank you, I am again. And thank you, Ghost in the Machine, Sweet Dude Shibby, Miss K. Everyone hit the like. And hey, have a great weekend. All right. Have a great weekend. Maybe I'll see you Sunday or Monday. Who knows? You never know with me. Hey, say what? Long time no see. What you been doing? Thank you, say what? All right. Thank you. Good night to you, say what? Also, Claremont. Thank you very much, Claremont. Appreciate that. All right. So I'm out of here. Round of applause again tonight for Rebecca Ann, our guest of honor, Rebecca Ann tonight. All right. Thank you, Rebecca. And also shout out Mark for the super chat support and I am and also Rebecca Ann and everyone else who supported. Thank you all so much for all of that. And I'll see y'all at another time. If you're on the replay, do me a favor. Hit the chat down below. Okay, replayers, hit the chat down below and support the channel as well. Appreciate that, replayers. I always love the comment section. That's a fact. So leave some comments, and I'll see y'all next time. And don't believe the butthurt liars, because they will try to tell you the Prof is the cancer to the case. The most evil guy in Delphi is the Prof. Sure. Right. Anyway, we'll check y'all out later. Yeah, I forgot to eat my chocolate. I'll do that now.